So not too long ago, a subscriber asked me if I could make a video about how I have kind of built and maintained my support system since moving for grad school. And I was like, absolutely yes. Having a genuine and strong support system and community while you're in grad school is so very important, whether it's for a master's program or a PhD program. And so today I will kind of just be talking about my experience going all the way back to the beginning of my master's program, or even before that kind of, and just sharing some of the ways that I've kind of just been able to find or build the support that I needed. Speaking of support, I just want to take a second to send a huge thank you to everyone who watches my videos, everyone who has subscribed, everyone who leaves such, oh my God, such nice comments. And to those of you who have reached out to me through my Instagram and asked me questions, which I don't talk about much and I don't really advertise, but it's linked on my channel. And I will also put it down below somewhere. I don't really post much on there. That's why I don't really like talk about it. But I realized that that is a really good way for those of you who want to ask me specific questions that maybe you don't feel comfortable asking in the comments. That's a really good way for you to contact me. So if you do have questions, feel free to DM me on there. Let me know you're from the channel and I will do my best to answer whatever questions you have or point you in the right direction, because honestly, I don't know much. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So by the time or the day of this video going up, I will have been uploading on my channel for a year. And so it just makes my heart literally smile to know that you all are actually enjoying these videos and finding them helpful in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, just thank you for being here and for showing me support. And who knows, hopefully we can continue to grow the channel and kind of form our own little support community here. I would love that. So yeah. So with that being said, hi, hello, my name is Jojo and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So anyway, support in grad school. This is such an important topic that I don't think gets talked about enough. And I'm actually a little mad at myself for not thinking about it earlier. Before moving for grad school, I too was extremely anxious about not having enough support. So much so that I spent roughly like 6 months worth of my therapy just strictly talking about how anxious I was about the upcoming move, and basically just working with my therapist to kind of talk through and resolve a lot of the fears that were coming up for me. And kind of what I discovered through talking with my therapist was that I was less worried about like having like physical or like practical support, and more so afraid or worried about not having like enough mental and emotional support, considering that I was going to be so far away from basically my core support system. So my first suggestion, if this is something that you're worried about, is to just take an inventory of your current situation. Think about what supports you already have, where you feel like your support system is lacking, in what areas. And once you do that, hopefully you'll be able to kind of start figuring out where to make adjustments. I just heard the weirdest noise. Don't tell anybody, but I'm convinced that my parents' house is haunted. I just heard the weirdest noise come from the other side of the wall, and there's nothing over there. Okay, anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, hopefully. Whew, okay, train of thought, come back. Hopefully once you do that, you will be able to figure out where you can start making adjustments so that you feel like you're getting the support that you need. The next step that I kind of undertook while I was figuring all of this out was just having conversations with the people around me, like the people in my support system. And the goal of that was to kind of work together to come up with a plan. Plan is a really bad word. I can't think of another word right now. But a plan for when I left so that I could still feel supported, and really this was just to kind of ease my worries. So again, I recommend having these conversations with the people that you already have around you. Vocalize what it is you need from them in order to feel supported, but also if there's anybody in your life currently that you recognize causes you a lot of stress, have conversations with them to start setting boundaries, because that is very important. Grad school takes up a lot of mental and emotional bandwidth, and setting boundaries now may help alleviate any unnecessary stress in the future once you leave for your program. I had to do that with a couple of people. It wasn't the greatest conversation to have, but it was needed, and I was very grateful that I had those conversations ahead of time. And also getting the reassurance from other people of them kind of knowing what I needed, what I didn't need, and how I would return the favor. So once we kind of had everything in my like immediate vicinity kind of figured out, the next thing we did was think about the future. And so taking an inventory of what supports and resources I may have access to in the city to which I was moving for school. For those who don't know, I go to school in New York City, but I live in New Jersey. I was born in Jersey, and most of my mom's side of the family who were in America also lived either in Jersey or very close by when I was younger. But when my mom decided that we were moving to Florida, she kind of somehow convinced everybody to also uproot and follow us down there. And so now all of my closest family members live in Florida while I am back in Jersey. Despite that though, I do have a couple of family members who are still in Jersey who I was able to reach out to and connect with. There were also some old close family friends, like my sister's childhood best friend, who she is still best friends with to this day, who still lives up there, who I was also able to kind of reconnect with, and basically they kind of like took me in and treated me as family. And so all of them have been really vital to me, just being up there but not feeling entirely alone the entire time. So if you can, if you already know some folks in the city that you're moving to, definitely start reaching out now. Start building that connection so that when you relocate, you have at least one or two people that you'll be able to reach out to in case you need anything. On top of that, or if that's not an option for you, a lot of programs have like group chats or WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups that you can join so that you can like start building a community with other students. I tried doing that, but it just didn't work out for me. I'm not a huge like texter message person, and when a lot of people are talking in a group at once, I get super overwhelmed and I just stop reading the messages. So I fell out of those groups pretty quickly. But if you are someone who likes group chats, join the group chats. They can be very lively, especially for excited new students. So definitely try that if you don't already have like family members or friends in the city that you're moving to. So that was all of the work that I did with my therapist prior to moving, but once I actually moved, there was more work to be done. So now I'm just gonna like rapid fire a few ways that I kind of took advantage of and met some new people, and hopefully these are helpful to you and you can gain some new friendships and start building that support system that you're looking for. Orientation. Talk to people at orientation. When I moved for grad school, it was at the start of my master's program, and so my orientation was like a huge 2-day affair. And during those 2 days, they had a few times where it was kind of just like time to mingle with other students that were starting the program with you. And so during those mingling hours, I just started talking to a few students and exchanged phone numbers, and that was kind of like my first go at kind of making, you know, connections with people in my program. They didn't all last, but one of them definitely lasted at least through my first year, which was a big deal for me because I didn't have friends. So small wins. Anyway, number 2 is class. If you're anything like me, again, not an extrovert by any definition of the word, you want to just go to class, do what you got to do, and then as soon as the class period is over, you dip. You're not trying to linger, you're not trying to hang out, none of that. But I have noticed, and I'm sure many people have noticed, that even though we are adults now, we like routine, and so we tend to give ourselves assigned seats in class, which means that you pretty much end up sitting next to the exact same people throughout the entire semester. Talk to those people. Talk to those people. Form a study group. Just talk to people, especially if like you're sitting next to the same people every day. You might as well just strike up a random conversation. And usually it happens pretty spontaneously. I met one of my closest friends to this day because she just happened to notice that my eyebrows always looked good in class, and so she complimented my eyebrows one day, and then we just started talking, and then 2 other girls sitting next to us joined the conversation, and then we all just decided we were gonna meet up and study one day. Just strike up a conversation and just see where it takes you. Join student groups. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but student groups are a great way to meet other people who have the same interests as you. I have met some of the most amazing people through the group that I joined while I was in my MA program. A lot of them I'm still in contact with today. A few of them ended up in the PhD program with me, and yeah, it's just great. So definitely join a student group or multiple student groups if you have time for that. Number 4 is a mentorship program. If you have access to a mentorship program, whether that's through your program directly or through one of the student groups in your program, join it. Having a more senior student kind of guide you through the program is really helpful. But also if your mentor has the bandwidth for this, a good mentor will also give you the space to kind of just vent or talk about other things, and that is another great way to kind of just have support if you need it. And 5 is your lab. So if you join a lab, which if you're going into a PhD program, that's not really optional, but if you're in a master's program, if you join a lab, and try not to look at it as just a way to get in good with an advisor or boost your CV. Try to also use it as a space to exchange ideas and kind of grow your network. Grab coffee or lunch with other lab members, or pretty much anyone you meet, for that matter, if you are that interested in getting to know them. But yeah, just try to use every space that you enter as a way to build a community, as opposed to just thinking I'm here because I have to be. That is pretty much what I've tried to do. Again, the people I met didn't always kind of stick around, but the ones that did are the ones that matter. Those are just some of the ways that I grew and have maintained a pretty solid support system since starting my master's program a few years ago and now in my PhD program. Just remember that you don't need a huge network of people around you to feel supported. I was gonna say don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, but I am very much afraid of stepping out of my comfort zone, and I don't do it often, so that would be really terrible advice for me to give. Just trust the process, be true to yourself, and I promise you will be able to find those people who positively contribute to your life. So yeah, thank you for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and click that little notification bell so you don't miss my next upload, and I'll see you in my next one.